Welcome back to the Alex Fuse Show. Adam Hastings, George Hathaway, and Austin Dakuta, and myself bringing you up until the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Top 5 news headlines of the day. Headline number 5, AB back in the news. Antonio Brown rumors everyone thinks that the wide receiver is coming back to the Patriots after Brown apologizes to Robert Kraft on Monday. Dun dun dun. What do you guys think?
It's nice of Antonio Brown to apologize to Robert Kraft because he did say some things to Kraft, but that was all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, all that. And I think if he really wants to be back on the team and back on to the roster, he should do it in person. As a Patriots fan, I would like to see Antonio Brown come back because the offense definitely needs him. The offense has not been looking at its highest form that it has in the past few years. But I think they need another receiver to help out Tom Brady, and Brady was upset. And I think he has been upset ever since Antonio Brown left the team, or was told he can't play anymore on the Patriots. Tom Brady was a big advocate for having him there and trying to get him on the team. Even throughout the allegations, Antonio Brown was offered by Tom Brady to stay at his house with his wife and kids regardless of what was going on in the media. So I think that the connection between the two of them would be stellar if Antonio Brown, if he does come back.
Okay, George? You scared me for a second.
Yeah, I don't think Antonio Brown's coming back to the Pats anytime soon. The Patriots are an organization that gives second chances to players who had a first chance somewhere else, but I don't know if they're going to give a second chance to a guy who already had an opportunity with them.
Yeah, and Antonio Brown tweeted and also posted this on Instagram. Mr. Kraft, I apologize sincerely to you and your organization. All I wanted to be was an asset to the organization. Sorry for the bad media and the drama. Thank you. Sincerely, AB. So, George, you said it. You would like to see Antonio Brown back on the Patriots, and you don't think it would add any extra drama that the Patriots don't need this season?
Well, the Patriots don't really have a lot of drama around them right now. Not saying that they should have any in general, but just having Antonio Brown back there, I think, would just boost their confidence on offense to kind of get that going. And to go off what Austin was saying about second chances, I mean, LeGarrette Blount had many chances with the Patriots. He came back after a few years of leaving, so you could see it.
Well, in LeGarrette Blount's case, he had opportunities with the Patriots, but he didn't do anything wrong in between those opportunities. It wasn't like he disrespected Mr. Kraft or Belichick at any point. It was just a mutual parting of ways, and he did get many chances, but he didn't actually cause any drama or harm to the organization in between those chances.
I guess you're right, but still, I think this apology is long overdue. He should have done this a while ago, even after he first said the comments. I know you just can't say that to such a great owner like Robert Kraft, especially with all the allegations that were surrounding him during the offseason. So having Antonio Brown back, I think, will be a plus and a win for the Patriots offense if they want to make something happen in the postseason.
Adam, what do you think?
Alex, I believe that it's a big risk on Antonio Brown. It's hard because he's the best receiver since Jerry Rice in many people's opinions and by the statistics. But the problem with taking a chance on Antonio Brown is if you're getting an offensive weapon for the Pats offense and for Brady to have a new shiny toy to be able to throw to in the postseason, you're gonna want someone that's reliable. And even if the Patriots were to take Antonio Brown back and Robert Kraft would accept that apology, the odds are Antonio Brown could be placed on the commissioner's exempt list at any second. It seems like his legal cases aren't settled yet, and it would just be a huge disappointment if, let's say, he did come back but only played for the last 3 regular season games or something like that, and then the playoffs come and he's not available. And then you're right back to square one where we are right now. So I just feel it's too little, too late for Antonio Brown for this season at least. I think next year he'll be on a team, and perhaps the Patriots will take him next year if Tom Brady's still playing, and if Gronk's not going to return, they're going to need some weapons on the outside for Tom Brady, and we'll see you next year.
Headline number 4 has the chance, in my opinion, to be one of the best stories of the year. Tom Hanks recently discovered his cousin is Mr. Rogers. Is that incredible?
Yeah, it's an incredible story. You can kind of see it a little bit.
Yeah.
When you kind of look at Mr. Rogers and Tom Hanks, they both do look similar. And the fact, I think it's even, like, the story is even crazier. I believe that he took this role to play Mr. Rogers before he actually knew that he was like 6 cousins with Mr. Rogers, and the irony of that is kind of unbelievable. And I think, it runs in the family, I guess, between Mr. Rogers and Tom Hanks. They're both great are great on-air people, especially on TV, and they both bring out, or Mr. Rogers brought out great content for people, and Tom Hanks each year finds a way to just put out a great movie each and every year. So it's kind of a great story.
Yeah, I'm not a huge movie person. I don't watch a ton of movies, but I do like Tom Hanks and Mr. Rogers. I remember watching as a kid, and it's an interesting, how you find out that that you're related to somebody without even really knowing it for 60 years of your life.
I think everyone can agree that everyone loves Tom Hanks and they love Mr. Rogers. I know people can't agree on everything in life, but I think everyone can come to an agreement that everyone loves Mr. Rogers and everyone loves Tom Hanks. Headline number 3 is a surprising one to myself, but concerts now beat out sports events as arena attractions. As amid rising ticket prices and booming concert business, touring musicians are becoming the breadwinners for arenas, which are increasingly turning away from sports as a revenue generator. If you look at Fenway or Gillette Stadium, whenever there's not a Patriots or a Red Sox game, Billy Joel is coming in to Fenway, or someone else is coming to Gillette Stadium. They have the whole summer series. I think it doesn't really surprise me anymore, but definitely if you said this to me like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it would have been a surprising thing. Musicians and bands have been performing in stadiums since the Beatles, and even before that. So I think it's just now almost more of a staple, and in order for the stadium to make the money that's necessary to stay alive in the business, this is what is going to have to happen.
Well, Alex, you did talk about Gillette Stadium, but the only an arena can generate twice as much income from hosting a concert than an NBA and NHL game. So it's nothing about the NFL. It's just strictly just basketball and hockey that concerts are beating out, and not a lot of people are going to a lot of basketball games or hockey games. Even last night, Carmelo Anthony returned to his first game in like 376 days. And nobody was there to watch that. Like there's like maybe like a few hundred people in like a 60,000 person stadium up in Portland. So like I think it's good for the owners of these stadiums because they're the ones who are making the money regardless. And it's just bringing more awareness to that arena. Madison Square Garden has concerts every single year, but
have you ever been to Madison Square Garden?
I've walked by it, but I've never.
Yeah, I've walked by. I've always wanted to go to a WWE event in Madison Square Garden.
Queen was performing there. I think over the summer, late summer.
Yeah, no, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, no.
Austin, you've been there?
Yeah, I went to Madison Square Garden once. It's unique. It's a different feel than your typical NBA or NHL arena, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You walk around the Garden, you're in the basketball arena. It's nice and closed off, but there's something about MSG that's just historic with all the different posters and signs and pictures of things that have happened there over the years.
I feel like it's almost like a Fenway or Wrigley Field for basketball.
Yeah. I've been to Wrigley as well, and that's a different experience.
Oh, it's amazing there.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's up there with my favorite ballparks.
I liked it a lot this summer. That was really cool.
So again, if you have the chance to go to Madison Square Garden, you have to. You just have to. Headline number 2 is a surprising one. Again, France has banned all children under 15 from using their phones in school. And I feel like phones have always been banned in school, but just the teachers just give up after telling the student to put their phone away every single second. And Monday is the first day that the French school children under 15 cannot use their cell phone at any point during the school day thanks to a new nationwide law. It got passed. The ban passed in July following a campaign pledge made by the French president and will affect elementary and junior high schools across the country as they return from the summer break. And the new law, which went into effect on August 5th, bans all types of cell phones as well as tablets and smart watches. Now it also says while the ban on cell phones during class hours were already placed in 2010, the new law extends to breaks and meal times.
Yeah, that was how it was in 8th grade at my school. We weren't allowed to use our phones during lunch, and it doesn't really make sense to me because if you're not doing anything, you should be able to kind of use your phone at lunch. I mean, I understand it during the school day. I think that's probably the most beneficial is to allow the kids to focus, is to not let them be on their phones all day, but I don't see why you can't use your phone at lunch.
George, do you have a take for this, or do you agree that all cell phones should be banned for the entire day?
It's definitely a hard decision to make because of how dependent these kids are these days on their cell phones. And I mean, what I found shocking from reading this article is that they're starting school. They just started school, like in France, and we're like a few months in. But this law I think is good, and the schools do have the freedom to choose as a school system if they will implement this rule. But I think that it's a good law to have. It'll keep the kids focused in school, kind of on their schoolwork. And of course, there's some exceptions to certain things here and there with the cell phones and everything. But they have a ban on like tablets, though, and I think tablets are something that I know, like towards the going in the high school and everything like that, we started using like iPads and everything like that. But those are for like educational purposes.
Yeah, I mean, in my high school back home, well, obviously, we were the last class that did not receive a Chromebook at the beginning of the year. So every single student underneath like our grade had a Chromebook, and ever since then, everyone has a Chromebook. So does this ban include educational use of technology?
Right.
And I feel like as we as a society continue to grow, we need that technology because that's how the world is. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. The world is definitely more of a technology kind of world, and kind of holding that against people will kind of stop like these creative ideas that kids may have with technology. If you're kind of refusing them to like be on their phones or something like that, or even on like a tablet, the kids can be very creative on these devices, which can kind of start something, and I think it could start something good out of it as well. But I think what France is doing is just to kind of strictly make sure that these schools that will have the ban implemented are just kind of to make sure these kids are not distracted by devices.
Well, we always like to end this part of the show with what national day it is today. And today is one of my favorites. Oh, I love this one. It's National Peanut Butter Fudge Day. George, do you like peanut butter fudge?
I I'm not the biggest fudge guy, but I do.
Really?
No, but I do like some good peanut butter. So, I mean, fudge. I'm assuming is like chocolate, right, and everything like that.
Well, I think the picture here, I think, just has peanut butter. I don't think there is any fudge in it. I think it's just the consistency that makes it fudge. I think that's how it works.
Okay. Well, then I know that you'll definitely need something to drink after eating that, because I'm guessing it'll be very chewy and it'll probably stick to your mouth or something like that, because that's what peanut butter can do.
That's very true, George. Austin, what about you? What about you?
I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on this too much. I mean,
You don't have an opinion on? Come on, you don't have an opinion about National Peanut Butter Fudge Day?
I don't really like peanut butter that much. I mean,
No, you don't like peanut butter?
I like fudge, not peanut butter though.
You like fudge, but not peanut butter.
Yeah. So I
So
mean,
you're just the opposite of George today, because George likes peanut butter but not fudge, but
Yeah.
you like fudge but not peanut butter.
sure.
So what if you just put the two together and make peanut butter fudge?
Yeah, but we're not going to put the two together.
Well, I
'cause
think
don't like peanut butter.
people did because it's a national holiday.
Oh,
Well,
good for them.
Okay. Well, what else is? Let's give a 2-for-1, because this show it kind of makes me feel this way sometimes. National Absurdity Day.
Huh?
It's National Absurdity. It's absurdity. Anyways.
That's so absurd. Is that what?
Yes, absurd. That's I can't speak today. So oddness and weirdness take over. So this is a 2-for-1.
That's a fair definition there. Weirdness take over when Alex sings coming out of the breaks.
My dad told me I can't do that on the show anymore,
I agree. Good call.
and so did my grandma. And my grandma is a very nice person, and when she tells me not to do something, it means it was really bad.
I agree with both of them 100%.
George, whatever. So to kind of just wrap up this whole show and what National Day it is, it has been a very absurd morning. And throughout history, bizarre occurrences mark the calendar, and it may seem absurd today to send... What? Anyways, I'm not going to read the rest of that article. That's interesting.
What is it, absurd?
Yes, it is absurd. It's talking about... I don't understand. Mailing children. Anyways,
Maybe not mailing children, but mailing to children.
mailing to children. I think that's what I think I read it wrong.
You might have read it wrong.
Oh my gosh.
This is a very absurd day for you.
Oh
huh?
my gosh. So this day was created as a day to recall and note some of the entirely off-the-wall, ridiculous things in history, in our country, and in our lives. Absurdity Day is also a day to have fun and do crazy, zany, and absurd things. Use a day as an excuse to let out all the silly antics hidden inside them. You can do things you have wanted to do that makes absolutely no sense at all, and it will be okay because you will be celebrating this National Day.
So you coming in today, pretty much off the wall with some coffee today is that? Did you know that today's like National Absurdity Day?
No.
Okay.
I had no idea.
That must be why he has that strong take on the Astros in the World
my
Series.
gosh.
That's a very absurd take.
You know what? On that note, coming up next, it's sports trivia. I'll be quizzing Austin, George, and Adam next on Power 88.